Can you lose weight and get in shape playing video games? Are VR treadmills worth it? Am I wearing this shirt unironically? With a VR treadmill, what can you do for your upper body? What is that weird thing I'm holding on my thumbnails? Well, strap in, because I'm going to answer these questions and more in this video. Alright, well first let's talk about the background. At the start of the pandemic, I did Couch to 5K. It was great and worked well. Then I moved to a hill and got lazy for a few months. Once I tried getting back into it, it didn't work. Combine that with quarantine, video games, working on a computer all day as a data scientist, and a fair amount of alcohol. And yeah, put on a lot of weight. And I tried to re-up my running, and the hill was just too savage to work with. Like, it's a really steep hill. I can't even take it on a bicycle without electrical assistance, so it's a rough hill. Alright, whatever. Enough complaining about the hill. I don't usually script these, this is somewhat scripted and I'm already off script, so that's fun. Anyway, I thought maybe I'll get a treadmill, like a home treadmill. Just a regular, non-VR treadmill. Then I realized for the same price, I can get a VR treadmill and combine video games and exercise. I mean, I used to video game on this. If you believe it. This is my old video game thing and I only have it out for reasons that didn't matter. But anyway, I decided, you know what, I'm going to try combining all that, which, given with the pandemic, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I was playing a lot of video games anyway, so I figured, why not? So I did some research, found a treadmill that worked with Skyrim rather than forcing you to their ecosystem of games. So the first VR treadmill was actually pushed to me, was an ad for a VR treadmill where it kind of forces you into their own ecosystem with their own games, and I looked it up, and that company had other products in the past which were not compatible with other games, and then they shut down support for them, and I was like, I'm not getting involved in that. Did a little bit more research, however, and I found Cat VR. And they're just like, yeah, this is a generic treadmill for gaming. We're not going to try to force you into our ecosystem. Just play on Steam. And I was like, that's for me. But there was a bit of a problem with this plan. I thought about it, and I was like, I'm doing my exercising on a treadmill while playing video games. What am I going to do about my upper body? Like, what am I going to do to get more than just cardio? Alright, so, as you might know from my gaming stuff, I was trying to write my own gaming system for a while now, tabletop gaming system, and so I ended up watching a lot of, I guess they call themselves like the Order of the Sword or something ridiculous. I don't know, it's just the YouTube group of people that talk about swords and armor and that sort of thing. Well, I watched Todd's Workshop and his series Arrows versus Armor, and there was the guy that was shooting the bow for them, Joe Gibbs, was on, and when asked what he does at the gym to be able to pull back a 180-pound longbow, his reply was, the bow is my gym. And I was like, ooh, yeah, I like that. So I took it to heart, I did some research, I brainstormed, and ended up with this guy. Modified, can't even fit it on screen with this camera angle. I'm on a laptop. Yeah, my camera's a laptop. It's weird. I got a good mic. Terrible camera. But anyway, it's actually a good camera for what it is. But anyway, so I modified an Accubow to use in Skyrim. If you notice, the normal Accubow has a thing here that holds a cell phone for AR gaming. This is actually an Accubow 2.0 string stop. But yeah, this is what I did. And my catwalk, of course, is sitting right back there. Let's see if I can spin it. Yay, it's spinning. And there's my catwalk. Can't see the bottom of it, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see me. Alright. So, let's talk about results a little bit. Or not results, but let's talk about sort of the methodology. So I looked up some research, and there's some research from 2021 that suggests that the average person plays about 8 hours and 27 minutes of video games in a week. Or the average gamer, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by average at that point. But I estimate, given my 7 a.m. to 7:45 and noon to 1 schedule, that I'm a little above that at about 8 hours and 45 minutes a week. However, I also clock about 4,000 to 4,500 steps on the catwalk. And some recent research I saw online estimated that about 3,000 steps at a brisk walk is equivalent to roughly half an hour of exercise. So for 1 hour and 45 minutes of video game play, I get 45 minutes of pure and unadulterated brisk walk exercise from the catwalk alone. Now I have no way to measure how much exercise I'm getting from the bow, but after some fights I'm totally knackered, so probably a lot. In fact, if you look at, I've got a video coming out next week where I do Ysgramor's Tomb. If you look at Ysgramor's Tomb, you can see I'm sweating a little bit at the beginning, I'm sweating a lot at the end. I sometimes get very sweaty. You can see it in the video sometimes, and it's, yeah. A lot of it's this guy. And the catwalk, so it's both. Alright, so let's talk about the catwalk for a minute. Is the catwalk C worth it? I mean, I would get the 2.0, not the 1.0, because of the sensors on the feet knock off sometimes. The 2.0, the sensor is just built into the shoe. So if you're going to get one now, get the 2, not the 1. But whether or not a catwalk itself is worth it probably depends on the game and how you play. But that rough guideline of about 3,000 steps equals half hour, it's just that every 100 steps or so is about a minute of exercise according to how much exercise you're supposed to get in a day or whatever. So that's just a loose guide. With me in Skyrim, I often use my thumbs to move, like I find myself doing this when I'm fighting. Or for fine maneuvering, like I'm trying to get to a chest and I'm having trouble, or when I get lazy, which is kind of a bad habit, but I know, whatever, sorry. It's a bad habit. But anyway, so results can vary. But I'm at about 2 to 3 minutes of Skyrim equals about 1 minute of actual exercise, just from the catwalk. That's not including the bow, that's just from the catwalk. So, it probably depends on the game. I assume a game like Pavlov and the like has fewer shopkeepers and cutscenes and would likely equal more. So as long as death doesn't mean wait for the match to be over, you're probably in a good shape. I actually don't know or play Pavlov because I don't think I could use this in Pavlov, and I don't think I'd want to play a competitive game while actually pulling back a 54-pound longbow style thing, because that would just be a bad idea. I mean, the catwalk in general is a bad idea for competitive games because you're going to be at a disadvantage because you're tiring yourself out. The guys you're playing are using this. But it could be more fun, and I think that actually would be a really cool thing for esports, like make people actually use a catwalk. That would be hilarious. I keep looking over there because that's where I can see my screen. Anyway, as for the Accubow, it might look like a compound bow if you look, right? But this isn't a pulley. The main giveaway that this isn't a compound bow is that there's only like one string here. Compound bows generally have the couple strings coming down and the one string you pull back, they'll slip the 2 strings on the side. This one's got the 1 string. That's because it's not even a string, it's a resistance band, like those workout bands. And it's in like a crazy, I don't know if you can see it, ratchet system right in here that it wraps around a lot of times to keep more tension on it. So yeah. The end result is, this right now, last I checked, was set to 54.4 pounds, which is actually 54.4 pounds of force when I'm at full draw, and I measure it by holding it out, then I get a thing to it, and I pull it back till the string touches my cheek, and then I look at the results, and that tells me the strength. I've got a bow measure around here somewhere. Here it is. It's a Cyberdyne. Cyberdyne. I'm not going to use it now because I don't know where. I have this paracord thing that I have to wrap around this because the thing that it came with for doing that kind of stuff didn't really work. So anyway, but that means when I do this, I'm actually pulling back that 54 pounds of force, right? There's no let off here. Unlike a compound bow, compound bows have a let off. So once you get to a certain point, the pulleys kick in and it eases. I don't get that. This is 54.4 pounds at full draw, so it's basically like using a traditional bow, which is cool because that's what you'd be using in Skyrim anyway, because compound bows are from like, what, the 1970s? I don't even know. Alright, great. That's great. But you're probably wondering, what are the results? You've been doing this for a year, what's it look like? Well, let me open up my statistics here, and I'm gonna dodge a little bit to the side here. And here we go. Tell if I'm out of the way. I'm out of the way. When I look this way, I can see them, so that's cool because they're right over here on another screen. So, if you look at it, I got almost 12 pounds, 11.45 pounds, and that's taken over a month. So this is my average for the first month. So it was a little higher when I started because it's a month of exercise. And then it kind of goes down and goes back up again a little bit, goes down again. I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's not a daily, that's a average over a month. Where was I in my script? You can see my last trip to Boston, which is right about here, when I took a week off. You can see where my Accubow, if you look down at the bow strength measurement, so I'm saying 54.4, and I've been saying 54.4 for a bunch of videos. This says 53.1 because it was lower at the beginning of the month, and halfway through the month is when I upped it to 54.4, so that's an average over the month. But you can also see if you look where my Accubow 2.0 broke was right in here somewhere. So I was actually up at around 52 or 53 when it broke, which is in here, but then I was down to 25, and then I got my new Accubow 1.0 around here somewhere, so that's why it's up to 30.4, and I very, very slowly and tentatively raised the force since then, because I was a little gun shy, because I'm dodging behind my stuff here. I was a little gun shy because of the smashing of the bow, which I will hopefully remember to put a link to in the doobly-doo below, so if you want to check that out, you can check it out in the doobly-doo after this video. You can see it explode. I've got a bunch of different bow explosion videos, and I'll show them to you. I'll put that, my Accubow 2.0 review and 1.0 unboxing shows you how I set this up, although I think it was the black one that I did, but it doesn't. Yes. So yeah, also you can see that I started measuring steps sometime in August 2022. I think it was when I got back from Boston. I started measuring steps, and then yeah, I've been measuring them ever since. So that's just kind of a thing that I've been doing now. And that's where I got that 4,000, 4,500 per day, because that's usually what I get. Sometimes a little less. Today was a lot less, but that's because somebody said no to an app over at Meta, and it killed my ability to play today. That's a whole other story, maybe for another time. All right. So aside from the obvious measurable effects, which you can see right here on my screen, you can see it and on my screen every video I have some, you can see my move out junk. Yeah, before, the reason that I only have to like about August, where am I, August over here, is because around here I was actually measuring time in the move app, which like, I have no idea why I did that. That was stupid. Steps makes a lot more sense. I can measure that from the catwalk. It's pretty awesome. That's what I do now. But yeah, aside from the obvious measurable effects that you can see here, I also feel like I got some gains strength-wise. I feel like I have traps now. Like, this muscle in here is a lot bigger than it used to be. Chest, back, arms, shoulders, I feel like all of these have improved. This is possibly the strongest I've been, or close to. I mean, I used to do martial arts, so I might have been a little stronger at the height of my, like, getting a brown belt in Kempo, but, like, I'm pretty close to that now. So, yeah, this was just a good time. I feel like this shirt is not ironic, and I actually feel like it's working. So, yeah. Plus, I got a question for you. When was the last time you got to behead a vampire at the gym and eat a dragon soul? I mean, sure, 18 minutes over the average on video gameplay, but that's including an hour or more of actual solid exercise. More on days I don't end up in Whiterun just selling junk, and this shirt, completely unironic. Plus, this morning I was an even 173, which I think puts me at like 24.9 or something in BMI, which is like, making it. So I'm well on my way to losing the COVID-19, which is a joke based off of the freshman 15. If you've heard of that, it's when you put on 15 pounds when you're a freshman in college, whatever. Because you have access to a soft serve machine. Doesn't matter. So anyway, if you want to see all this stuff in action, you want to see this guy, that guy, and the whole thing in action, just check out other videos on my channel. Or, you know, just come on by if you want to enjoy seeing some headshots, seeing some heads pop off in the middle of Skyrim, because I've the hit location app, and doing a lot of damage with a critical to the head just pops them right off, so that's fun to watch. So, you know, if you found any of this useful, like the video,